Our team at Kearny High School has benefited tremendously from the Teacher Achievement Award program.
The original project plan was to develop some units that would relate 3 senior courses to each other. English, taught by Diane Singer. History, taught by Judy Anderson. And Marine Science, taught by Melissa Hamilton.
And the way that we link these 3 very different areas together is by using a central theme. That theme is vision. And the vision theme is broken down into 6 generalizations, which are used as a way to discuss this issue of vision from a variety of different angles. Some of those include what we see is a function of where we stand. The leaders often shape vision to their own ends. The vision of leadership can often be short-sighted. Where there is no vision, the people perish. The future belongs to those who have the imagination to see it, and every voyage of discovery begins with a vision. So these are the themes, the generalizations that we use to tie this program together.
We tried as much as possible to give the students a cross-disciplinary experience, and Melissa, Judy, and I met several times during the year to work on joint lesson planning. Another thing that all 3 of us were involved in was a research project that the seniors were required to do. It had to do with a world problem, and it was aligned to technology through use of PowerPoint and Astound. A lot of the students used science-based themes for their research, so Melissa was able then to consult with them on that.
The use of technology in my social science classroom was enhanced by the use of 2 projects referred to as web quests. One was the China Roots of Revolution, in which students were asked to pretend that they were a film crew that was preparing a documentary video on China and trying to evaluate whether or not China had actually changed as a result of the 1949 revolution. The product that they were supposed to produce was a student-produced and student-edited video. The second web quest was one that was called Global Challenges. This one is a look at war, sustainable development, and the environment in the 21st century, and the problems resulting from scarcity of resources in certain water-challenged areas of the world.
I decided that some of the money that I received from the TAAP should go into a small mini computer lab in my room. Until a couple months ago, there wasn't any computer lab on campus, and it caused a great deal of problem in trying to reach some of the goals of this grant, as well as working on my master's degree, trying to get the projects that will work for that, as well as a Trident grant, which we had received for the school, which encouraged teachers to incorporate technology into their classroom. With the help from my master's advisor from UCSD and money from the TAAP grant, I added 10 small computers into my classroom. Although they were not directly linked to the internet, I was able to use a program called WebBuddy to enable the students to access the internet sites without being directly on the internet. And even the students who had previous internet experience were fooled into thinking that they were actually on the real things. I had a couple of projects that the students worked on throughout the past 2 years that incorporated more global ideas into them. For example, for several years I had my marine science class make an animal from scratch. They supposedly discovered an animal and they had to describe it, all the details about the animal, where they found the animal, what mating habits, what the eating habits were of the animal, and the various types of adaptation and defense strategies that they use. Due to the goals of the TAAP grant and trying to tie in more with the English and history part of the project, I tried to make their more global themes where not only did they research it on the internet, but then they also had to figure out where the animals lived, what type of political environments might be in that area, so that they might have to consider what type of situation the animal might be living in. Will the people in that environment use the animal for food? Will they hunt the animal down because of other aphrodisiac effects, other purposes will be necessary to some people's culture? Are there rules in that part of the country or part of the world that might protect the animal? Or what would be ways to prevent the animal from going to extinction? So that way, to try to figure out how to have a vision for the future of this pretend animal, to help them think more globally, to have imagination, and to tie in with the Vision Project. The projects I received after adding these parts to the curriculum were the best I'd ever received. They were much more in detail, they were much more involved, they sounded more like real animals. Another project that I had the students worked on incorporated the vision theme once again, and it was on coastal erosion, where students had to figure out the best means of preventing a coast from eroding. The students were given the assignment where they worked in groups of 4, and each student in that group had a different perspective. One student took on the point of view of a city engineer trying to come up with the safest solution. One person kind of came up with the idea of the financial advisor, how much money it would cost. One person was the ecologist trying to figure out what would be the best for the environment. And then one person was a city council representative trying to figure out what would be the best way to please the people of the community so that he could be rehired.
I am the city council member that will be representing for the problem of the island of Gilligan. We have a problem with the old break walls and jetties. We have found that they were not efficient. They were actually pretty much a waste of our money. We have recently come together to come up with a new coastal erosion barrier. We have all agreed on this new process. We agree that it will save us money in the future to come. The new coastal erosion will be what we call man-made reef. This reef will keep the beaches looking very beautiful and welcoming to the public and the tourism part of the public.
Due to the positive attitudes of the science classes from these different opportunities, I had a marine science club that I was able to take advantage of a local opportunity to go on a harbor cruise, a marine science floating lab, and do oceanographic labs in person at the bay and see in person the vision, whether people have a vision for the future and caring for the bay or not. This grant has given me some incredible opportunities the past couple of years. I've been able to attend the National Science Teachers Conference in Las Vegas and in Boston with 20,000 other teachers from around the United States. I've gone to the National High School Teachers Conference in New Orleans and Nashville and met with teachers from across the country that have interdisciplinary teams in progress. I've observed an interdisciplinary team at Chicago to see what a successful team looks like. I went to Philadelphia to observe an exemplary high school with incredible success stories in their science program. I've also been able to add on to my hands-on experience. I've been able to go and tour the Everglades. I've swam with the dolphins over winter break, and because of these experiences, I was able to write a good explanation as to why I should participate in a summer research program at Woods Hole, Massachusetts. And that's where I will be this summer, doing oceanographic research on my own to try to figure out, along with other teachers from across the country, trying to figure out how to incorporate real scientific data into internet projects for our classroom. And none of these experiences would have been possible without the funding from the TAAP grant. It has been an incredible learning experience. I've learned things in spite of myself. I've gone to some of these trips and have been surprised at how much I've been able to come back with and share, not only with the team members, but with my classroom and with other science teachers that aren't even involved in the project.
As part of my TAAP grant monies, I used some of the funds for attending a variety of different conferences. One was a conference in Nashville and one in New Orleans of the National High School Association conferences. One was the technology conference for the California League of High Schools, and then two conferences at Georgetown University on international relations, and one special conference and workshop on Nigerian politics, where Diane and I were able to attend this one together to look at Nigerian politics and the upcoming elections.
In terms of using the money, as Judy said, we went to a conference together in Washington, D.C., actually a lecture regarding Nigerian politics, which was very useful. And I also attended the high school conference in New Orleans, where I got a chance to find out what others were doing with cross-disciplinary practice and also look at portfolio practice, which was also extremely helpful. Remember, what else?
Ms. Singer,
Yeah.
can you look up here, please?
What do you want me to do? Just talk.
Look
Like-
great. You're good at that.
Ooh, I